Hi, everyone. Today I wanted to discuss Hamlet and just share some of my thoughts and feelings about Hamlet, um, and what it may be, what Shakespeare may be uh, really saying through the play Hamlet. So I do believe, the more I delve into Shakespeare, um, I feel that his plays are documents of consciousness, and what I mean by that is that uh, they are about consciousness and how we can change from our ego consciousness into soul consciousness or into God consciousness, and that there are ways and means to do that. Um, so the Shakespeare plays, especially his dramas, are definitely scripture, much like the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, the Quran, and many other great scriptures of the world. So the Shakespeare plays have relevance, they have meaning for us uh, today and for all time. They are speaking truths that we need in our lives. So, so with Hamlet, I do believe Hamlet is about getting even, but it's not about revenge. It's about um, it's about balance, achieving balance. So, in what needs to achieve balance, it appears to be our reasoning or thinking nature and our feeling nature. These need to be harmonious in order to be balanced, and that they each need to be balanced or harmonious with one another in order to work correctly and also to achieve an intuitive state. And that intuitive state leads to an awareness of soul. So we will start with imbalance, um, and then we'll talk about how feeling and reason become imbalanced, and then also ways that the Hamlet play seems to indicate how we can become balanced. So war is probably the greatest symbol or image of imbalance of, of things not being in harmony. The state of Denmark may be going to war with Norway, um, so that there indicates a state of imbalance. That something is not quite right, something is not harmonious. We have two elements in conflict with one another. So, so war as an indication of imbalance. Uh, the other one, and there are many throughout the play. I'm just pointing out a few of them. Francisco, at the beginning of the play, he says, "Thanks for this relief, for I am sick at heart." So again, sick at heart seems to be an image for an imbalance of feeling. Something's not quite right. Something doesn't feel right. Haste or hurriedness, being in haste seems to be another indication of imbalance. You'll hear many of the characters who are, from the point of view of villains, from the point of view of Hamlet, villains. They and he himself, they talk about haste. They talk about being in a hurry. They talk about rashness. I believe Hamlet even says, thanks there be to rashness. I may be incorrectly paraphrasing that, but again, always being in a hurry. So the Shakespeare writer seems to be saying that in our ego nature, we seem to be in a hurry a lot. We aren't calm, we aren't at peace, that we're always in a rush, and that we're rash. Uh, hate, the feeling of hate is another feeling that causes imbalance. Um, Hamlet may already hate Claudius to a degree, but when the ghost comes and says it was Claudius who murdered me, that just increases his hate, enrages Hamlet's hate towards Claudius. And again, this is a state of imbalance, hate. Negative thinking, negative attitudes is another indication of imbalance. Hamlet is in a state of depression. And he's in a state of depression because he does seem to focus on the negativities of the world. Now, these may have a reality, but Hamlet is choosing to focus on the negativities of the world and not the positive aspects of the world. So this causes his depression, this causes his melancholy, and really to just kind of go into a circle, a spiral of negativity and wrong thinking and wrong attitude. Desire seems to be another indication of imbalance, kind of wrong desire. Laertes speaks to Ophelia about desire and about avoiding desire to avoid complications with Hamlet, getting involved with Hamlet. So I think the Shakespeare writer is saying something about desire. And again, this has echoes with the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita about negatively influencing consciousness. No, selfish desire, not desires out of a pure heart. So these are just some of the things that that cause one to be imbalanced in their feeling nature and in their thinking nature. So, let me mention habit as well. So habit seems to affect consciousness as well. So if we have negative habits, we continue to have a negative mindset. If we have negative behaviors, we have negative feelings and a negative mindset. And so that, again, that kind of just continues to go round and round in a wheel. And to mention the talk when Hamlet is ridiculing Gertrude for getting involved with Claudius, he does say, "Don't give in to the lust," essentially, and by not giving into it, it becomes easier over time by not giving into it. So again, habit, either positively or negatively, plays a role in our consciousness, in our attitudes, in how we feel, and in how we think. Okay, so how do we balance our feeling nature according to Hamlet? So in Hamlet, there seems to be a lot of words around silence, quietness, stillness, calmness. So it seems to be that for our feeling nature to be in harmony, there needs to be a calmness with how we feel. And we can achieve, I suppose, that calmness through right habits, through going into the silence. So going into the silence is meditation, a form of meditation, or meditation itself. Being able to quiet our hearts and our minds through meditation. What also puts our feeling nature in balance is showing concern for other, having concern, compassion for other, rather than seeking always selfish interests. So it's hard for Hamlet to feel for others. He seems to be engrossed in his revenge and his ability or inability to commit revenge on Claudius. And I do, as a side note, of course, many of us think it's the revenge is for Hamlet to kill Claudius. But I don't know if the ghost ever explicitly says to Hamlet, "You must kill Claudius." He says, however you may do this, and I'm paraphrasing, however you may do this, however you may enact revenge, do not taint your mind. So does this perhaps mean don't focus on killing, but let karma, let the divine law of karma play out for revenge to happen, to be wrought upon Claudius. So in Romans 12:19, and Shakespeare, of course, was an expert in the Bible. He would have known the passage, "Do not seek revenge for yourself, but let God take revenge. For vengeance is mine, saith the Lord." So I think this is perhaps what the ghost means, actually. I could be wrong on that. So these are, and habit. So having right behavior, this also, again, influences the quality of our feeling nature. So, and having a quiet feeling nature will lead to a better reasoning nature. If we are not in a tempest with emotions and negative feelings and negative thoughts, then we are able to think better. We are able to reason better. So I think what Shakespeare is saying in Hamlet is, I think we first must calm our feeling nature, then that will calm our thinking nature. In addition to that, listening to conscience. Listening to our conscience will give us better discrimination, which will give us better reason. So conscience means with knowing or with awareness. So our conscience knows what we should do in every instance. And if we don't know, it appears that we should go into the silence, into quietness, to listen to our conscience about what we should do in any given instance, or how we should, or what we should think about something. So, and again, habit can also influence our thinking. Now, I think most people have intrusive thoughts, unwanted thoughts, but you can choose to either think about those, meditate on those, or you can choose not to think on those and think on things positively. And again, Hamlet seems to think on the negative side of things, and therefore does not have the right discrimination on what he should do to avoid his tragedy. So I guess to recap some of the things that the way one can balance feeling and reason is, one, meditation, going into the silence. So at the end of the play, Hamlet talks about the rest is silence. And in the action of the play, that means what follows after my death is silence. I won't be here to tell my story. But I think a spiritual interpretation is that the mind and the heart are at rest in silence. By practicing silence, practicing meditation, this gives rest to the mind and to the heart. And again, a rested mind and a rested heart give us intuition, which then can lead to a greater understanding of soul and of God and of love. So meditation on love. So how do we achieve balance? So in Hamlet, it seems to be meditation on love. Again, Hamlet says, wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love will swing me to my revenge. But again, his conscience is saying what you should focus on is thoughts of love and meditate on divine love. That will help you to avoid your tragedy of seeking revenge. Okay. And again, habit, so committing the right behaviors seems to influence consciousness in the right way, and will help us to feel and think in the right way. Again, having compassion and concern for others, thinking of others, thinking how you can help others rather than use others is another way to purify, calm your feeling nature and your thinking nature. It also appears right occupation. So there are a couple of spots in Hamlet where he seems to be most at joy, most at peace. and one is when he's interacting with the players, creating plays, going through speeches of plays. This seems to be when Hamlet is most at joy. And then the other, despite an attempt on his life, it's when he's on the high seas. He seems to be very calm when he comes back with his interaction with pirates or with privateers. So these two seem to indicate that the right endeavor, what we do, does matter as far as our feeling nature, our thinking nature, um, and our consciousness. That it does affect it. That it has a role to play in our consciousness. So these are just some of my thoughts on Hamlet. It does seem to be, again, about getting even, but getting even as far as balance, which then leads to intuition, which then leads to a realization of love, really essentially love of within ourselves and love of other. So those are just some of my thoughts about Hamlet. Let me know what you think about that, and what are some of your thoughts on Hamlet in the comments below. All right, thank you. Bye.